sure it tastes fine. I can only drink a couple cause it feels like a lie. We'd play Halo and we'd lay low in our basement until the sun began to rise. We would go to school but not learn too much cause it's hard to read when you've got tired eyes. Months go by, the time it flies, past the days that we drink Kool-Aid in the summertime. Years go by, the time it flies, past the days that we drink Kool-Aid in the summertime. They've been with me for some time and it's nice to know that they still by my side. Friends are like stars cause no matter how far, when it's dark outside, they will be your light. We'd play Halo and we'd lay low in our basement until the sun began to rise. We would go to school but not learn too much cause it's hard to read when you've got tired eyes. Months go by, the time it flies, past the days that we drink Kool-Aid in the summertime. Years go by, the time it flies, past the days that we drink Kool-Aid in the summertime.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, chat.
What up?
I'm very much so expecting my kid to be upset that I'm not putting her to bed soon. So,
Yeah.
so I'm like,
The
all right,
cat's feet are
you're
like-
gonna close doors and stuff.
The cat's feeder like just went off too. So
Nice.
at some point, we'll have the cat like come in here and start howling, and it's gonna be great.
Pets are always welcome on stream. So, hopefully it'll be okay. Show them that I'm dropping frames and stuff, but it's on my end. Okay, there we go. All right. This is the last FRC live show of the year and second to last one because we have FTC Top 25 tomorrow. So,
Wow.
and that'll
That's kind of wild.
That'll be it till Robot in 3 days. We got a absolute crap ton of content coming out. That's not we have a couple FRC, but it's mostly FTC and RECF stuff right now. But we gotta wrap all that stuff up for Robot in 3 days. I don't know if you guys have looked at our the content tracker or anything like that, but I have 20, including this show, we have 28 content pieces in queue before January 3rd or up to January 3rd right now. So yeah, so Samantha and I are busting our butts to get everything out. So
That is a lot.
too many
I
programs.
mean, it's a healthy pipeline, but like, man, that's a lot.
But I mean, so December is usually by far the slowest month of the year. We're going to do more viewership in December than what we did last year, February, during the middle of FRC season. So it's just one of those things. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and that includes. I don't think we're Chad. I don't think we're posting anything on Christmas, maybe Christmas Eve. Like we're going to schedule it. It's not like we're actively editing on those days, but so yeah, we get a lot Hold on, let me look real quick. What day is Christmas? The 25th. Yeah, we're not posting anything on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day either. So we got to cram everything into all the other days. But all right, I'll digress enough. So just my woes right now. That's why all the other correspondents are making FTC. Like, I need your stuff now. Like
Right.
we gotta get this stuff going.
Nick, FYI, your pre-intro says 4 topics.
Yeah, we only got 3 this time.
That's what I get for.
Well, that's what I get
Copy
because last
and
time we did
paste.
4, and usually we only do 3. So
Yeah.
Copy and paste.
No, I got to work early today to be home at a reasonable time and left an hour and
And
a half
today is
later
December
normally.
17th.
I feel that.
oh, I got that right.
That-
All right.
This is my work hell week. Once I get through this, I'm off for 2 weeks.
Woohoo!
I'm off next week, and then I got to go back.
I actually can't hear Nick.
Uh-oh.
Interesting. Can you guys
Um,
hear me?
yes,
I can hear you.
We can both hear. So, Juan, can you do me a favor? Can you just reconnect to this real quick, and we'll just see if
Yep.
that fixes it.
All right, I'll be right back.
I'm glad we're doing this now. So
Yeah, good catch.
everybody can see I didn't crop Nick fully over. So oh, there we go. Pig grammar. This show usually lasts about 30 to 40 minutes once we get started. So all right, Nick, say something.
Yo.
There we go.
All right, cool.
All
Yeah,
right.
dude, it's just
Right.
the software. Sometimes it bugs
Very
out.
good.
So
Fun
Good
stuff.
catch, because that would have been
Swing
real
it for
awkward.
free. for the intro. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Connor, can you say something?
Hey, how's it going?
And Juan, you could hear that too,
Perfect.
right? Okay, cool.
Yes, perfect.
Okay.
And you all can hear me.
Yes.
Yippers. All right, welcome back. FRC Roundup is back and prepping for the upcoming 2025 FRC season. We have a great guest and 3 topics to cover tonight that have emerged over the past couple of weeks in the community, looking into the QuestNav post on Chief Delphi and what might be on your team's Christmas or FRC miss list for Santa this coming holiday season. All of this and more coming up on this episode of FRC Roundup.
This video on fun is brought to you by viewers like you and also in partnership with the following. AndyMark is your one-stop shop for all your robotics competition needs. Celebrating 20 years of quality robotics parts and superior service, AndyMark employees have over 200 years of first-team experience. From mechanical and electrical products to tools and hardware, head on over to andymark.com for high-quality and affordable solutions. Discover how Kettering University students engineer their success with Kettering's amazing co-op employment programs where students earn great pay and gain valuable experience. Those accepted into Kettering University can apply for a robotics scholarship, providing up to an additional $5,000 a year in tuition assistance. Head on over to kettering.edu/first to learn more and apply.
All right, welcome to the show. If you have not caught our show previously, FRC Roundup is where we take a look at important topics currently happening in FRC, highlight some discussion points about events that may have happened, strategy, or really anything that correlates with FRC. If you're the fun community, think that there's a topic that we should discuss on FRC Roundup, please feel free to ping me on the Fun Discord, and I'll be more than happy to take a look at it. If you're not familiar with me, my name is Nick Mathis, and I'm currently in the 1st in Michigan region, and I'm a mentor on Team 33, the Killer Bees.
And I'm Connor McBride, mentor for Team 166 Chop Shop and an MC and game announcer in the New England District. Our guest tonight is Juan Chong. Juan is a longtime firster, motion sense hardware engineer, developer of QuestNav, and now a multi-time Roundup guest. Juan, welcome to the show.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me back, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks again for coming on. So, first topic of the night is going to be jumping into QuestNav, which was worked on or developed by Juan here, who's on the show. So, Juan, I'm going to throw it to you. We're going to kind of let you go into what you can talk about and the specific things related to it, and then we have a couple of questions for you, and then see if anybody else from chat has something as well.
Sure. Yeah, so I mean, QuestNav, I'm sure folks, I'm sure nobody was really expecting it, right? Like QuestNav is just something that I've, an idea that I've had, and I kind of have been thinking about it this entire season. But as it turns out, just I hadn't really figured out how all of the different pieces needed to come together till I guess a month ago or so. But no, it's just a project that I wanted to share with the community, right? I guess to give folks a little bit of background, I don't presently mentor any team. So the little robot that you see that you see in all the demos and everything else is actually just something that I pulled together just to play around with. And honestly, the QuestNav software is designed to be like really simple. It seems like it's this big, ultra complicated thing, but I tried to make it as easy and straightforward as possible. Yeah, I mean, it's at its heart, QuestNav is really just relying on the Quest headset to do all of the tracking. Really, the code itself is quite literally grabbing the position data from the headset and shipping it over network tables for the robot to use. Like that's it. Like there is no more magic other than that. So yeah, it's my hope that folks try it out. If somebody has a headset and they want to play with it and put it on the robot, I'd love to hear about it. Actually, definitely post in the thread, or send me a DM or anything like that. I've happy to see more folks play around with it. Yeah, and I also take pull requests. So if there's a bug or anything else that you'd like to fix, like I will totally accept that too. Um, yeah, I mean, were there any other questions or anything else? Like, do we want to dive into, more of the technical stuff? Y'all tell me.
Sure. So I guess one thing that I had that might be able to dive into some of the technical thing is, one, what was really the inspiration behind it? I know you went into a little bit of, it's been something that you've had an idea for some time now and put the pieces together. And the follow-up question to that is, where do you see QuestNav really taking off, and how can teams benefit from using something like QuestNav?
Yeah, so QuestNav was truly like just an idea, right? Like if you think about like how the headset kind of works, right? Like ultimately, if for VR to work, is the headset kind of has to figure out where it is in 3D space. And whenever people think about using the headset, right, using a VR headset, you usually think about like putting it on and, you looking through the display and seeing everything that gets drawn inside of it and everything else. But why not use all of that hardware, right? Like, why not use all the algorithms and the cameras and everything else to our advantage, right? That's kind of the premise behind it, right? Like, and I knew from the get-go that this would work. I just never expected it to work this well. I knew it would be able to track and do stuff like that, but like to go over bumps, to like just completely spin in place as fast as you can go. I've pushed it as high as like 6 feet per second, or no, 6 meters per second, excuse me. And like, yeah, like that's as fast as my little rev modules will let me go, right? Like, and it seems to be happy. Yeah, see, what was the other thing? It was also how can people help out, right?
Yeah, how can people,
Yeah.
how can teams benefit from using something like QuestNav?
I mean, honestly, teams could benefit from it just by enabling, more precise, more repeatable autos. Teams can like, I honestly, like I love driving the robot now that like there is essentially no drift. There is no gyro drift. I've driven for the robot's been on for half an hour driving around the field, and it just does not lose its heading, right? Like the robot will continue to go straight.
That's crazy.
It just yeah, like I've driven it around, like like literally hallways, buildings, all kinds of stuff, and it just like straight up does not drift. Yeah, like that's I think where a lot of teams, even if they don't even if the teams don't use QuestNav for any like super high level automated scoring or anything else, like even if it's just the purely for driving and drivability, like I think teams will benefit substantially from that.
Wow. Awesome. Thanks
Mhm.
for that. Two
Yeah.
questions from chat. First one, from 4. Do you think QuestNav can be used as a part of sensor fusion with April tags?
So I do think so, but you kind of have to like think about things a little bit differently. So instead of using the April tags in the way that we typically use them in FRC, which is you're constantly looking for them and constantly trying to update and track based off of them, you actually want to only use them for initialization. And then the key thing here is to trust that the headset will continue tracking, right? So you may want to like look at the April tags, and maybe you see one April tag up, one side or another in the on the field, um, but you don't need to constantly see them. That's the key thing. It's not like other I guess approaches to tracking.
So I guess kind of to piggyback off of that, like you can get away with just one headset. Can you? Is there potential to need more than one? Say 2, 3, 4, if you can fit all those on your robot.
So I think tracking should be pretty good. It should be sufficient for with just one headset. There is, I believe there's an API for sharing maps and sharing tracking data between headsets as well. Um, so this is, I think this is typically used for like, think of it like a multiplayer, like, zombie game or something like that, right? You could totally do the same thing, but with QuestNav, right? Um, I honestly don't think that you'll need more than one headset. Like we've just playing around, like pushing things to the extreme. We covered the two front cameras, like literally put tape on them and drove around, and the headset was still able to track just using the two side cameras. Right?
Wow.
Yeah. So
That's
I mean,
crazy.
I'm not saying it was as good, but it was still
Right.
extremely good, right?
Well, and then one other question in chat: Do you is the support for QuestNav just strictly that Quest 3 headset, or is there an opportunity for earlier renditions of the headset to be used?
So right now, I guess the binary or the app that's on GitHub has only been compiled for the Quest 3 and Quest 3S. I'm not sure whether it'll work for anything prior to that. I personally recommend just using a Quest 3S because it's just, it's pretty reliable. There's and we're not, you're not going to look through the displays because it's going to be on your robot. So,
Right.
Mhm. Well, very good.
yeah.
Thanks for the introduction. I know it's been something that is, like you said, not much, not much expectation for it. And it was kind of like, wow, what is this? Like, I did not expect to see a robot using a VR headset and using it for puzzle submission. So definitely a cool project. One quick question that I personally am just curious on. How many hours would you say you have into developing QuestNav?
Um, so I should probably mention that I am not a software developer like at all. Like I C++ maybe, and like that's about as far as we go. Python is a little scary. So having said that, considering that this is written in Unity and Unity uses C#, well, it took me probably about 30 hours or so between debugging and testing and figuring out how Unity works because I had to do that first, right? Um, but yes, that's about it.
Actually, not too bad.
That's not
Yeah,
terrible.
I thought it was
yeah.
gonna be like 500 hours or something. I was waiting for some crazy number, but
I started this last year in the basement. Just
right.
No, no. I
Oh,
think like truthfully, I probably started maybe October, if I had to guess. Like like a little bit after Halloween, I said, I should really sit down and figure that out. And
huh.
you know,
Well,
yeah.
very cool, and I'm sure a lot of the community will get some use out of it. It's definitely an interesting thing that as we move towards further tech and whatnot, I'll be very curious to see what this this next want to say generation, but next era of devices going into the FRC market and being utilized for stuff like that. So very cool. Thanks for the explanation. Before we go and jump into the next topic, we're going to go ahead and bring Tyler back on to hear from our friends at Kettering University.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Nick. Hey, everybody, Kettering University, huge thank you for their continued support of another year of fun content. We're so happy to have them back on board. Sincerely, everybody, we wouldn't be able to make the content we do with our partners. So thank you to all of our partners for keeping fun, live, independent. So build your alliance at Kettering University with so many others who are from FirstNet. Go to Kettering University. Every student at Kettering experiences their cutting-edge co-op programs that seamlessly blend the professional and academic worlds. And this co-op is not an internship. It's a fully immersive working experience at the leading edge of industry. So head on over to kettering.edu/first to learn more about their incredible program and to get a bit more information. And thanks again to Kettering University for their continued support.
Awesome. Thanks, Tyler. And thanks again to our friends at Kettering University. Jumping into our next topic of the night. What is on your FRC Miss wish list? This was inspired by another Chief Delphi thread that has gained some traction. A little bit entertaining, but I am curious to hear, some interesting topics, especially from Connor. So I'm coming to you, so be ready. But, generalized thread was, obviously had the holidays coming up here, for the folks that celebrate Christmas, as well as Hanukkah and other holidays across the world that happen at this time of year. It's definitely an exciting year. Also, with kickoff happening right after the new year here, I think we're down to like 18 days or something until the new FRC season, which is terrifying, but we'll continue. But one of the things that I thought was super interesting, someone had put on there that they requested like a heavy localization game. So I thought that kind of played into QuestNav. The brief that we just had on QuestNav was super interesting. I did note that that they did come out in the blog that we're expecting to see 22 tags on the 2025 field, which I thought was interesting. In my mind, I kind of take that into two ways. Either A, there's obstructions everywhere and they want to give you a lot of spots to reset your pose, or B, we're going to be scoring in a lot of different places, similar to 2023. So yeah, just use QuestNav. You're not going to worry about the tags, but so I thought that was super interesting to see. With that many April tags, I'm very curious. Back to 2 game pieces. I'm very curious to see what First has up their sleeve for REEFSCAPE. But Connor, what are maybe some actual items that 166 might have on their FRC wish list, or even you?
Well, now after going through our last topic, I kind of want to pick up a couple Quest 3s. I have a Quest 2 sitting over in my living room, so I guess that's junk right now. But I can still continue to play Beat Saber and other stuff with that headset.
I will say, be sure to check the compatibility list. There are, the headset's a little finicky with which USB adapters work,
right.
But
adding on to that, I would love to get some more bamboo printers. We have about 4 bamboos spread across, now 5 actually spread across the team and mentors. And we're actively trying to get a Polymaker grant. So please, Polymaker, respond to us. We really want your filament because it's really good. And we need a lot of it. Where we're doing a very, very aggressive build season this year and building 3 unique robots.
Wow.
Yeah. We'll
stick to our one,
lot
but
of filament. Yeah.
Very well. Good for you guys. A couple from chat. Good match schedule. That's always a good one. Pray to the match schedule gods, for the upcoming season. Thankfully, regional systems now on that point system, so might have a little bit more wiggle room. Still not great, but if you are in the regional system, an easy clearing game for refs. Totally agree. That's another good one. Another one from chat. On-time matches. That's always fun the first couple of weeks of the competition season. But Juan, if you do you have anything on your FRC Miss wish list? I know you said you're not with a team, but still pretty involved with the program.
Well, I would like to see, a couple of swerve upgrades, on, Baby Robot. I've found that, teams crave a little bit more, testing speed. So, maybe I can make it a little bit faster.
There you go. Very cool. Another one from chat. Galen Spooner, our Tormach router to arrive before the season. That's a good one. Congrats for getting a Tormach. Those things are pretty insane. But One thing for 33 in general, obviously, upcoming to 2025, it's going to be our 30th FRC season, which is a pretty big deal for us. So we're super excited coming into this year, and hopefully, going to break our bannerless streak since I've joined the team, because we haven't won anything since I joined. But yeah, coincidence maybe. But one thing that we're really looking forward to is just getting our hands on a lot of the new products. We're going to be breaking into some of the new WCP swerve modules this coming year, using a lot of the new Kraken motors, and just kind of waiting for those things to show up coming into the new year. Obviously, with kickoff being so close, we're excited to get our hands on a lot of those new products and see, what they're really all about. I know the vendors have put a lot of time into developing those products, and we're excited to get our hands on them. So, but all right, well, before we go ahead and jump into our final topic of the night, we're going to go ahead and bring Tyler on to start our giveaway and hear from our friends at AnyMark.
Yeah, a couple of big things going on actually with AnyMark. If you didn't see, their new product release launched on December 6th as well too. So make sure you go check out all the awesome products that they have right now. We have another giveaway coming up. We'll tell you in just a moment how to win that. But lots of great stuff for the REEFSCAPE season. Swerve powered Ratchet Sports Course 40 motor controller, powered elevator, and my personal favorite, I don't know if you guys saw the new tracks for the Rhinos, which I don't know.
Oh God!
Without reading the game,
God.
like it's got to be obstacles, right? There's got to be something with that as well too. So make sure you go to anymark.com to get all your needs that you have for that, especially too for pre-orders. If you're checking with your lead mentor, if they have not gotten the second game piece that's available for pre-order, make sure you're on that. Don't fall behind. Go to anymark.com. You can click on the new product link for all that. So make sure you get all that stuff ahead of time so you have it right away. By the way, let's start a giveaway from AnyMark. They're giving us one more of the AnyMark Goat, and it's actually not sold out right now, which is pretty rare. So make sure you get that in. Totes my goats is going to be the keyword. Type that in chat right now. That's your opportunity to win. If you are a YouTube subscriber, you'll get 3 times luck to win. But totes my goats. Type that in, and we'll get back to you in just a few minutes for the winner for that and information if you do win as well.
Very good. Thanks, Tyler, and thanks again from our friends at AnyMark. Looks like Juan's got his goat on screen here. Very nice.
Oh, Juan, does your goat have a name?
Gosh, it's been years. I don't remember what we named this particular goat. However, this is what from way back when, right?
That's awesome. Very cool.
Love it.
All right, well, to take us away on our final topic of the night, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to my co-host Connor to talk about Champs Hotels.
Yeah, so if you have not heard by now, oh boy, first is requiring all teams to book their hotels through their portal. That's right. No more booking your Airbnbs, no more booking that obscure hotel way outside of the city that is definitely saving your team some money. You must now book through their official housing provider, Conference Direct. I, for one, am not thrilled, as a majority of the first community is. Also not thrilled as well, for a number of reasons. One of them being, the possibility of there might just not be a whole lot of hotels left come week 5, week 6, when those bubble teams qualify for Houston. Going to open up the floor here, Nick. If I know you got some opinions on this thread, so I'd love to hear what you got.
Oh man, I am terrified about this. I'll just be frank. It's not a secret that MSC is the longest week 6 event, just due to the nature of how we run the tournament on Saturday, even with only doing elims on Saturday. I don't think I've gotten out of there before 9 o'clock. In the past couple of years, and that's thankfully because my team has been super successful and been playing in a lot of those late rounds, or we've had a lot of close friends playing in those late rounds. So it's important for us to stay and support the teams that do make it, even if my team might not be one of them, because it is super difficult to get to that point. We want to respect them. But besides the point, the big thing that scares me with this is, like, to your point, Connor, I know that they've been saying that they're going to release the hotel in waves, and they're going to schedule it where, so there's going to be a good bulk of the teams qualifying for championship are going to come into week 6, from New England, Ontario, Michigan, Texas, all those big DCMPs. What I am scared with is, when are they going to essentially send the portal to be able to book hotels, because from what everything that I've been able to read, and there's not a clear answer on it yet, is it sounds like as soon as you qualify for the event in the first system, you get an email saying, hey, okay, you can book your block. Well, if that's the case, Connor's going to get the email at 6 and I'm going to get the email at midnight. So if he gets the email at 6 and all of New England and all of Texas, like, you know, and Texas has run later too, but traditionally Ontario and New England are done relatively earlier. I mean, it's still pretty late given the fact of the tournament the whole week, but you know, if they get that email earlier and then Michigan is not getting, and again, I'm speaking for Michigan here, but if we don't get the email until, you know, our list gets released, which is anywhere from 9 to midnight, you know, there's going to be 400 other teams that have had access to book hotels. And then, you know, some teams that might have like just qualified and had no intention of going now have to try and book hotels before they even leave the venue. So that is pretty terrifying to me. I think the right way to do it is, okay, Monday morning at 9 a.m., all the district championship teams, you know, is when you're going to be able to book. And I'm not saying it's ideal. You got to wait another 2 days. But I think that's probably the most fair way to do it. I don't think anything about what they've currently done is fair. I'll just put that out there. I think we all kind of agree on that.
Yeah.
To be the devil's advocate, I semi-agree with it because I think in general, it's probably safer from a student safety perspective because they're only going to first approved hotels. You remove the risk of the terrible, and whether we agree with it or not, but at least myself, I've booked a bad Airbnb, and the outskirts of Houston is not the greatest area, and that's every city. Detroit's got its parts that aren't great. Los Angeles has its parts that aren't great. Miami, you know, so on and so forth. So I don't think it's a Houston issue. It's, you know, it's a city issue. But like I could see a team that qualifies late, you know, like you know, maybe the 80th team that qualifies in Michigan had no intention of going, but was the third pick of the alliance that won the event and just got in, and didn't have an opportunity to get in. And now they're trying to find an Airbnb to get in, and there's this cheap one that's like 10 miles, but it's in a really bad area, and they end up getting, you know, into a rough situation. And so from that standpoint, I get it. It just puts such a financial burden on the teams. Like 33 stayed in 2 Airbnbs last year. We had a male Airbnb and a female Airbnb for the, and that happened to work out for us. And I understand that that might not work for every team. And obviously there are students that, you know, might not identify that way. And, you know, that you cross that point when you get there and should be able to be accommodating, but understand that doesn't work for everybody. And they were right across the street from each other, and we saved an enormous amount of money because we were able to do that. And by moving to this hotel situation, you know, we're anticipating like 100% increase of what we spent last year on funding. And I'm not going this year. I'm just gonna I put it out there. I'm not going to championship this year because I have a design review with the government for work that I'm stuck doing, and I would rather be at championships. But for the sake, the whole fact, I am protesting against the championship, the hotel rule, even though I'm technically not. But that's what I'm saying to make myself feel better. But Juan, I don't know. Do you have any thoughts? I know, like I said, you're not super involved with the team anymore, but I'm sure you're super active in the community. So.
Well, I used to actually be, lead mentor 1 for a team. So, like, let me tell you, logistics is a thing, right?
Yep.
So, there's a lot of other stuff that I think might also come up. The payment, let's say, your payment isn't on file, or, you tried to book hotels and, the credit card didn't work or whatever, right? There's, assuming you're allowed to use a credit card, right? I'm actually more concerned about the teams that may run into like logistics issues because of rules that a school district or
purchase orders
what
and
have
it taking time.
Exactly.
Totally agree.
Yep. And it's like there's no, you don't know where you're going to stay, so you don't know how much it's going to cost.
Right, and
you don't know how much it's going to.
Yeah, how can you submit an event authorization in February for an overnight trip for 3 nights to take 40 students across the country when you don't know where you're staying until a week before you have to leave?
Exactly.
There's
Yeah,
no
like
good
it's
way to
just
do that.
there is no good way to do that, right? Like ultimately somebody has to, like, you've got to have a credit card or somebody that's going to like hold all that and hope they get reimbursed. Like there's just a whole lot of logistics, like, from the team management side that gets really tough. Um, I'm sure, teams have worked it out in the past, and, like it's worked previously. There's a lot of other stuff that I'm sure people have figured out how to work around, but like the added time pressure, and like forcing people to have to go down this route does make it a little bit trickier for teams, I think.
Totally
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
Connor, what is 166 planning? I know you guys have recently been to the championship. I know you took a trip last year, but
Yep.
if you guys qualify again this year, what is your guys' plan coming into this season?
I honestly,
or do you have one? Because it's hard to plan for.
Yeah, and that's valid, and glad you said that, because we don't, to be honest. It's one of those, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I mean, we're always a little bit more proactive on making sure that we have flights. Like, as long as we can get ourselves there, like we'll find a place to stay. Like that's fine. I know looking through that blog post, First is saying that they're under contract with over 150 hotels, which I'm no mathematician, but that's a lot of hotels. So like I'm cautiously optimistic that First can actually do that. Whether if it's, it might be a hotel a little bit out there that you need to get some like rental buses or whatever, like that's fine. That's fine. Like we've done that before. We can do it again. No big deal. But I know of some teams.
Get the checkbook out.
Yeah, for real. I know of some teams in New England that when they went to champs, they had to split their hotel payment across multiple credit cards throughout multiple transactions because they just didn't have a credit limit that could hit $15,000.
Right.
Like, or whatever crazy number that they had. It's just like it can you do that through the housing portal? I don't know. I'm
great points.
I'm glad I'm not a lead mentor and have to go through those logistics, because god damn, that sucks.
Yeah. Tyler, I know you used to be one of the lead mentors for Wave. Obviously you've transitioned to more of the media aspect and supporting Fun Robotics Network. What is your take on this, coming from that media aspect and previously being a lead mentor?
Well, I guess what I would really like to see is where's the money going for everything. First claims that money is meant to offset the cost of championships. Let's get an actual breakdown of what that looks like and prove what you're saying, so we actually know you're not just pulling the wool over our eyes and it's just not a money grab for things. So that's kind of where I'm at. I mean, it is what it is. I know, from making now RECFX content as well, they do require housing just like this for their participants. And, when you look at an FTC or a VEX team, that's typically 5-6 students, right? An FRC team is 20 to 100. And I think that logistical potential nightmare could just be so many more issues because you have to book that many more rooms. So that's where I go.
That cost effective thing, actually, that kind of adds up. So for context, for when I went to champs last year, I booked my flight and hotel and everything the day after district champs. So literally 1 week before I flew out. I actually got my hotels through the First housing portal, and I was at the Marriott for a couple nights, and I ended up paying about $150 less per night than just booking directly through the hotel's website. So I think they're onto something there, where it's like, it's definitely probably going to save money. As to like how much, I don't know. But I mean, if I told you guys that you could save $20 right now, like, I'm sure you'll take that offer any day, right?
Yeah, I think one of the big things, and last thing before we wrap up here, is it's going to be the transportation. I'm very curious to see how they break up the Marriott and the Hilton, which are attached to the venue, and how they break that up across weeks. I know a lot of teams, kind of sometimes rely on that. They fly in, they book a one-way transportation downtown and book a one-way transportation out for their whole team, and then they just walk everywhere. And granted, there are, I want to say it was like 30 hotels in the downtown area that at least 33 identified is within relatively walking and bus transit. that you can get on their like Metro Pass that they do for first teams every year they're down there. One of the things that I'm curious on is like, so we go to book after MSC. The only hotels left are 15 and 20 miles away. Well, now I have to rent vans, or I have to rent cars, or I have to get transportation every day. And so like last year we did Airbnbs, and to offset some of that cost, we rented vans. We still spent like $3,000 on renting cars for the entire team for the week. So you're
You also
talking
have to
about
pay for parking, which is also not cheap. At the
correct,
convention center, that's like $60 a day per van.
right?
Yep. And you've got to bring enough mentors that are allowed to drive, right?
Correct.
And are comfortable driving those vehicles.
If they're
in
allowed to
Houston
drive by your
traffic,
school
right?
district too.
Keyword comfortable, because I drove 2 years
Uh-huh.
ago. I drove an 18-passenger van in a city that I've never been in. So, was I a fish out of water?
Yeah, it's
Yep.
terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's situations like that, right? They can sometimes be a little bit difficult to navigate, right? Like it's from the adult perspective, right? Once again, having had to manage all of this, now you have to bring enough adults to also who are comfortable driving, and you hope they don't get sick. And there's a lot of other like little puzzle pieces that like could happen.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Totally get it. All right. Well, thanks everybody. Oh, before we go ahead and wrap up, let's go ahead and bring Tyler back on to draw for that giveaway.
Oh yeah, that's the awesome goat from our friends at AnyMark once again. So totes my goats was the keyword for it. We are still having some weird issues with Nightbot on here, so let's bring that up real quick. I got to put Juan's goat back up on screen. Hold on, we got to put him back up with that. So totes my goats was the keyword for it. Let me hit draw on here. I don't think it's going to show up in chat. It's not. It's going to be Ant Poison. Congratulations, Ant Poison. Please go to funroboticsnetwork.com/winners, or if you go to our website, there's a button on there for you to submit your information. And thanks again to AnyMark for the awesome giveaway. And they got some more product giveaways they'll be doing once we hit comp season as well, too. So we're very excited for that.
Awesome. Thanks again, AnyMark. And thank you to everybody for tuning into FRC Roundup. Special thanks to all those who clicked that subscribe button or stepped up to help fund by becoming a fund member or supporter by clicking the join button. Your support really helps us continue to make great content. Don't forget, you can watch FRC Roundup archived at funroboticsnetwork.com or on YouTube and watch live Mondays during the competition season. Also, I believe we'll be firing up our night of kickoff show that we've done the past couple years that has been super successful. So be on the lookout for that. The night of kickoff. I believe we're shooting for 7 p.m., but don't quote me on that. That might change, but it will be that night of kickoff. So just wanted to put that out there as well. Thank you to Juan for being our guest for coming on tonight. And on behalf of our producer, Tyler Olds, my co-host, Connor, and all of our fun correspondents, I'm Nick Jr., and thanks for watching. Big thanks to our moderators in chat as well. See you next time where we take a look at what is going on with FRC Robotics on FRC Roundup. Thanks, everyone.
Streams on the Fun Robotics Network are supported by viewers like you and also in partnership with the following. Discover how Kettering University students engineer their success with Kettering's amazing co-op employment programs where students earn great pay and gain valuable experience. Those accepted into Kettering University can apply for a robotics scholarship, providing up to an additional $5,000 a year in tuition assistance. Head on over to kettering.edu/first to learn more and apply. AnyMark is your one-stop shop for all your robotics competition needs. Celebrating 20 years of quality robotics parts and superior service, AnyMark employees have over 200 years of first-team experience. From mechanical and electrical products to tools and hardware, head on over to anymark.com for high-quality and affordable